All right, let's wrap up level one and go over some of the trade terms you need to be familiar with in your job and for the exam. Okay, a bond. This is a requirement of most contractors. It's called a surety bond. And what that does is if the contractor doesn't perform his job as planned and as promised, the person that he's doing that work for has the ability to go and file against that bond and reclaim the funds and their losses that they incurred because that the contractor didn't do what he agreed to do. Okay, carbon monoxide. This is a colorless, odorless, tasteless gas. It's lighter than air, and it is toxic. And remember, toxic means that it is won't make you sick. It's going to make rather rapidly send you to the hospital or make uh, end your life. And it is a byproduct of gas furnaces in our instance and in our trade. So anything that deals with oil, propane, or natural gas is going to be emitting carbon monoxide. CFC refrigerant, chlorofluorocarbon. It is a refrigerant that contains chlorine, fluorine, and carbon, and they have a very adverse effect on the ozone and our environment and are being phased out, if not already phased out. Easement. Now, an easement has to do with our code section. That is where there is space from or space that has been left available in between properties for the fire department, public utilities, or anything else. If there's a sewer line going through the back and the city needs to get there to work on it, there needs to be an easement, which is just a wide enough space. For example, if there's an easement of 5 feet from your property line, you cannot have anything within 5 feet of the property line. And your neighbor has that 5 feet, so there's 10 feet in between the houses for public utilities and so forth to gain access to anything they need to maintain or obtain access to. Now, as an HVAC technician, that's you need to consider this and understand what this is because usually if you're retrofitting equipment, you can just plop it right back down outside and don't have to worry about easements. However, if someone is doing a remodel and you're going out to look at that job and then that remodel goes right up to the easement and then you got to set the condenser next to the remodeled part of the home, it may infringe on that easement. So you do need to be familiar with what an easement is and what the easements in your area are. Hydrochlorofluorocarbon refrigerant, HCFC, those are the newer refrigerants. With hydrogen, chlorine, fluorine, and carbon, they're a little more environmentally friendly. International Building Code, IBC, that's just the standard that's used across the country for the construction trades. Okay, reclaimed. Reclaimed refrigerant is refrigerant that has been processed and remanufactured. It's already been used in a system, turned into a facility, and then it meets the standards of new refrigerant and can be reused. On the job learning or on the job training, that's training that you receive outside of the classroom on the job, usually working under the supervision of a journeyman HVAC or sheet metal person. Recovery. That is when you, for example, you're taking out replacing a compressor and the compressor's dead and you can't pump the system down, so you have to recover the refrigerant and you put it into an approved recovery tank, and then you change the compressor and then you can use that refrigerant to put back in. You can't always put it back in to that same system, all of it back in, so that's when you have to take and turn it in. Once that jug is filled up, you turn it into a recycling center for refrigerants, and what they do is they filter it and they remove the acids and the moisture and they bring that back up to industry standards so it can be reused. Most of the time though, this is when you retrofit a system and it's R22 and you're going to pull all that refrigerant out. Once your jug is filled up, it goes to your supply house, and they turn it in for the recycling portion of the reclaim, recover, and recycle. Sustainable construction. This is just construction methods that have a minimum impact on land, natural resources, using reclaimed or recycled materials, and conserving energy over the building's life cycle. Okay, so here we go. Next session. First of all, you have to take the Module 1 exam level there, and you have to score 80% or greater before you can move on to the next session. The exam is timed, 2 minutes per question, so you really need to make sure you go through the review questions and you do the trade terms quizzes on page 227 and 29, and make sure you just go over the videos and review the lessons. Again, if there's something that's confusing, you don't understand, you need to just reach out before you take that exam and let me know. We'll get you moved on to the next lesson.